across the vast fields stretching through central Florida, where the damp ground is frequently torn up as if shaken by a silent underground force, wild boars are no longer just occasional nighttime visitors. They appear in dense numbers, moving in organized groups, leaving behind trails of destruction that cut across the land like invisible scars. At first, the damage is minor and scattered, but within just a few days, entire areas can be completely transformed. The real concern is not the strength of individual animals, but how the entire sounder operates as a system, repeating patterns, precise movements, and becoming increasingly unpredictable over time. In the early stages, single traps were deployed in hopes of quickly controlling the situation. The objective was simple: remove individuals to reduce pressure. But the outcome proved entirely different. After each capture, the remaining boars did not return as expected. Instead, they became more cautious, moved more slowly, and began carefully observing their surroundings before approaching. Small traps, rather than solving the problem, unintentionally forced the entire group to adapt and sharpen its survival instincts. Recognizing the limitations of this approach, a new strategy began to take shape, one that no longer focused on individuals, but on the entire structure of the group. Large-scale trapping systems were designed as open spaces, with steel posts forming wide circular enclosures that did not immediately feel closed. There were no sudden movements, no immediate triggering mechanisms. Everything was arranged to blend naturally into the environment, as if it had always been part of the landscape. The most critical phase was not when the trap was activated, but the period before it. Food was placed outside the area, then gradually moved deeper inside over several days. No intervention took place during this time. The boars began to approach, initially cautious, but gradually becoming familiar. They entered and exited multiple times, observed, retreated, and returned again. Over time, the line between safety and risk slowly faded. Once familiarity reached its peak, the entire group began entering the trap area as part of a normal routine. This was when the human element returned, but not through rushed action. The operator monitored everything through cameras, waiting for a single decisive moment. When every individual was inside the controlled space. No one left outside. No hesitation. Only then was the decision made. The triggering mechanism was executed remotely, fast and precise. A large gate dropped into place, sealing the entire enclosure without leaving any gap for escape. Everything happened in an instant, but behind it were days, even weeks, of preparation. Trigger too early, and part of the group escapes and learns. Trigger too late, and the opportunity disappears. This is not a race of speed, but a test of behavioral understanding. The entire process requires near absolute patience. No human traces, no direct pressure. The environment remains untouched, as if no interference ever occurred. It is this silence that allows the boars to return to their normal patterns. Except this time, everything unfolds within a structure that has already been calculated in advance. When the right moment arrives, a single action is enough to conclude the entire sequence of preparation. The final result is not just about the number of boars captured, but the complete disruption of the group's movement system. Once the structure is removed, the familiar pathways disappear with it. Pressure on farmland is significantly reduced, not because individuals are removed, but because the collective behavior itself has been broken. This shows that the true effectiveness of trapping lies not in the physical mechanism, but in its ability to control behavior on a larger scale. For many years of participating in wild boar control operations, seasoned individuals have consistently emphasized a core principle. When wild boars begin appearing on public roads, the issue has already extended beyond the scope of a single farm. A fully grown individual can weigh hundreds of kilograms. If it suddenly charges onto the road in the dark, it is fully capable of causing serious collisions. In states such as Texas or Florida, such situations occur frequently, and the consequences often unfold faster than humans can respond. Early in the morning, groups of farmers, together with control teams, were already in place. A large map was spread out, and high-risk areas were quickly identified. Sections of land that had been uprooted, areas where livestock frequently appeared, as well as crossing points where herds typically moved across roads, were all carefully marked. This was not a spontaneous reaction, but a plan built on real-world observation and data accumulated over time. At the central location, a large-scale corral trap system was constructed. This was the key element of the entire strategy, to contain the entire herd in a single operation. The setup process was deliberate and calculated. Bait was arranged in layers, guiding from the outside inward, forming a natural path that led the herd deeper into the trap zone. The objective was not to attract them immediately, but to create a sense of familiarity. During the first nights, cameras only captured them standing outside, probing and observing. By the second night, a few smaller individuals began to step inside. Then, over successive nights, their alertness gradually faded, and the entire herd moved deeper toward the center. Persistence began to yield results. Once the herd had developed a habit of approaching the trap area, the moment for action was determined. The gate was triggered and shut in an instant. Inside, chaos erupted immediately. The herd compressed together, circling and constantly shifting direction within the confined space. Heavy impacts against the steel frame produced deep, muffled sounds, not overly piercing, but heavy enough to create a palpable sense of tension for anyone standing nearby. Even so, experienced individuals were not drawn into that chaos. They did not focus on the movement of the herd, but instead observed the structure of the trap itself, every joint, every load-bearing bar, every point that might be subjected to intense pressure. Because this was the most critical phase. A single minor flaw in design or installation could cause the entire plan to collapse within seconds. Inside the trap, the herd continued to move relentlessly, searching for any possible escape. Yet the structure of the trap remained intact. No weak points were broken, no gaps emerged. All pressure was contained within controlled limits. And that was the defining factor, not strength, but the ability to control the situation. In surrounding areas, secondary traps also began to take effect. Individuals that broke away or deviated from the group were intercepted. The entire team held their positions, performing exactly the roles assigned in advance. There were no sudden changes, no actions outside the plan. Everything operated like a carefully calculated system. After just 1 week, the effectiveness became clearly visible. No new tracks appeared near residential areas. No more herds crossed the roads at night. Cameras recorded a distinct change. The area grew quieter, and daily life gradually returned to normal. Roads that once posed hidden dangers had now become safer, at least for the time being. A well-conceived plan, executed with patience and precision, will always deliver more sustainable results than any rushed reaction. This is not merely a story about wildlife control, but about how humans re-establish boundaries between residential areas and nature, between stability and chaos. And from such operations, a principle gradually becomes clear. When the movement of these animals can be controlled, everything around them can be protected.
In just a single night, the entire field was torn apart, damage estimated to exceed $50,000. By the time daylight had fully settled, all that remained was churned up soil and rows of crops completely destroyed. Months of hard work had nearly vanished without a trace. With no time left to hesitate, the farmer was forced to deploy a solution never attempted before. But the question remained, could they stop the entire herd in one attempt, or would the destruction continue in the days ahead? The entire process was documented, beginning with the construction of a massive circular trap measuring up to 30 feet in diameter, a design aimed not at individual animals, but at capturing the entire herd at once. The objective was clear: at least 30 wild boars in a single operation. Because if even a few were left behind, the survivors would quickly adapt, become more cautious, and nearly impossible to trap again using the same methods. For a 500-acre farm under constant pressure, this was no longer an experimental option. It was a necessary step to regain control. For that reason, in areas with high wild boar density, a large-scale steel trap system was chosen. The circular structure, built from 4-gauge steel, stood like a reinforced enclosure. Its design eliminated sharp corners, creating an open and natural space that allowed the herd to enter without suspicion. The steel gate, 8 feet wide and weighing around 150 pounds, was connected via LTE and could be operated remotely by phone. The entire system was anchored with steel posts driven nearly 90 centimeters into the ground, strong enough to withstand the powerful force of adult boars. Each day, approximately 90 kilograms of corn were spread evenly to maintain their return pattern. During the first 3 to 5 nights, the gate remained open so the herd could become familiar with the environment without sensing any threat. Only when infrared cameras confirmed that the entire herd had moved deep inside did the operator activate the closing mechanism from distances of up to 6 kilometers. In the instant the gate dropped, every escape route was completely sealed. There was no turning back, no way out. The final result demonstrated the effectiveness of the entire system. "32 wild boars were captured in a single event, with a total estimated weight exceeding 2,500 pounds. This was not only an immediate reduction in damage, but also a way to prevent future re-entry from the same herd. Beyond crop destruction, wild boars also carry dangerous diseases such as African swine fever, ASF, porcine reproductive and respiratory syndrome, and other respiratory illnesses that can spread rapidly. When they enter livestock areas, they can transmit these diseases to domestic animals, causing serious consequences for entire farming systems. In addition, bacteria like Salmonella and E. coli can spread through the environment, increasing biosecurity risks. This makes controlling wild boars not just about protecting crops, but also a critical part of disease prevention strategies. When pushed into a controlled situation, wild boars can become extremely dangerous. Adult males, especially during breeding season, are capable of aggressive reactions to any intrusion. This creates significant risks for farmers and others working in affected areas. That is why controlling them in populated regions has become essential to protect both people and property. As the trapping day came to an end, the field gradually returned to silence. They carried the results of the entire operation back with them, leaving behind land that had just been reclaimed. And in that moment, they knew the season still had a chance to be saved.
Don't come to me. It's gone.
In just one night, a field in central Texas was turned into a churned-up wasteland, rows of crops overturned as if a massive plow had passed through in the darkness. The estimated damage exceeded $60,000, and by sunrise, all that remained were dense tracks and completely destroyed patches of soil. With no other option, the farmer was forced to shift from defense to proactive control. But the question still lingered: could a single solution stop the entire herd, or would everything repeat the next night? The data from cameras and ground traces quickly revealed one thing. The herd was not moving randomly. They returned to the exact same route, the exact same point. An open area right at the edge of the field was selected as the trap location. A circular steel system was assembled with a diameter of nearly 10 meters, creating a space large enough for the entire herd to enter without feeling pressured. No gaps, no suspicious elements. Everything was designed to resemble a naturally safe zone. Steel panels were secured with deep-driven posts, strong enough to withstand the impact of fully grown boars. At the center of the trap, dozens of kilograms of corn were spread out daily. But the key factor was not the amount of bait, it was timing. For the first 4 nights, the gate remained fully open. The boars began to return, first as cautious scouts, then gradually the entire herd entered and fed without hesitation. Cameras captured every step, from initial hesitation to complete comfort moving inside the trap area. That was the critical moment, when suspicion disappeared. On the 5th night, everything changed. Once the entire herd had moved deep inside, the operator monitored remotely via phone. With a single signal sent, the steel gate dropped instantly. No loud noise, no prolonged chaos, just a brief moment, and the entire herd was contained inside. Every escape route vanished, and their only chance was gone in an instant. The result exceeded expectations. 37 wild boars captured in a single operation. The total estimated weight surpassed 3,000 pounds. But the real value was not in the numbers. It was in completely breaking the herd's return cycle. If only individual animals were removed, the rest would quickly adapt and become harder to approach. But when the entire herd is controlled at once, the cycle of destruction is effectively stopped. However, the damage caused by wild boars goes far beyond torn-up soil. They also carry invisible risks, from infectious diseases that can spread to livestock, to disruptions across the entire farming ecosystem.
Oh my God!
When they penetrate deep into livestock areas, they can become carriers of biological threats that farmers cannot manage through conventional means. More dangerously, when cornered, large adult boars can react with extreme aggression. Weighing hundreds of kilograms and capable of powerful impacts, they pose a threat not only to crops but to human safety. That is why control must be carried out remotely, using automated systems, rather than direct confrontation. When the operation ended, the field gradually returned to silence. Standing on the land that had just been reclaimed, the farmer understood this was more than a single success, it was a shift in approach. No more reactive responses, no more chasing losses. Instead, strategic control, calculated execution, and enough force to stop the problem at its source. And in that silence, one thing became clear. In nature, the most dangerous threat is not what appears suddenly, but what returns every night, precise, repetitive, and increasingly difficult to stop, until humans decide to change how they confront it. In just one night, the entire field seemed to be wiped out by something moving in the darkness. There was no warning, no clear sound. Everything happened so silently that no one noticed. By the next morning, when helicopters began scanning the area, the scale of the damage only became visible from above. Long strips of disturbed soil appeared like cuts slicing across the field, stretching from the forest edge deep into the production area. And this was not an isolated case. Within just a few weeks, the damage surged. Some areas recorded more than 30% of crops affected. And in the United States, total annual losses caused by wild boars exceed $2.5 billion. These numbers did not appear overnight. They accumulated from small, repeating signs, upturned soil, damaged crop rows, expanding empty patches. When everything repeats long enough, it is no longer an incident, but a pattern silently taking shape. Wild boars do not move randomly. They learn and remember extremely quickly. Once they identify an area with a stable food source, they will return along the exact same route. Surveillance cameras show that the herd often appears at the same time, moves in the same direction, and stops at familiar points. This means that without a proper strategy, any temporary prevention becomes meaningless. More importantly, with every failed attempt to intercept them, they grow more cautious. Once they learned the risk, controlling them becomes significantly more difficult. Instead of continuing passive defense, a large-scale trapping system began to be deployed. The location was not chosen randomly, but based on data collected over many consecutive days. An open area located directly along the herd's main travel route was identified as the optimal point. Here, steel posts were driven deep into the ground, forming a circular frame large enough to contain the entire herd if they entered at once. The spacing between the posts was precisely calculated to eliminate weak points. The entire structure had to be strong enough to withstand simultaneous impacts from multiple adult animals. Once the frame was completed, steel mesh panels were secured around it, creating an enclosed space that still felt open enough to avoid suspicion. Every detail was handled carefully, minimizing human scent as much as possible. Then, the most critical phase began: baiting. Fermented corn was spread in a long trail, starting from outside and leading deep into the center of the trap. The scent dispersed lightly, enough to attract without raising alarm. The amount of bait was gradually increased each day to build a sense of complete safety. Any unusual signs were eliminated, ensuring the herd had no reason to distrust the area. During the first nights, the trap was not activated. The herd was allowed to get used to the location, moving in and out freely without encountering any obstacles. Cameras recorded each animal entering, feeding, and leaving calmly. This was the key step. Only when they completely lowered their guard would the opportunity to control the entire herd truly appear. At the right moment, when the number of individuals entering at the same time reached its peak, the trap mechanism was finally triggered. The gate dropped instantly, sealing off all exits. The silence was broken immediately. The herd panicked, charging in all directions, trying to escape. The ground shook under their weight and constant impact. But this time, there were no gaps left to exploit. The system had been designed to contain the entire herd, leaving no individuals outside. And the real change did not lie in the moment the trap closed, but in the nights that followed. No more repeated movements on the cameras. No more tracks stretching along the fences. The field returned to stillness, a different kind of stillness than before, not the calm before damage, but the calm after the cycle had been broken. For the farmers, it was not just a successful control effort. It was the first time they had truly regained control.
For decades now, farmers and ranchers have struggled to control the rising population of destructive and dangerous feral hogs.
Brazil is facing one of the most alarming biological invasions ever recorded. A unique hybrid type of pig, covered in a natural armor, made of scar tissue and hardened fat up to 5 centimeters thick, is rendering most traditional control methods ineffective. They can breach electric fences, evade traps, and reproduce at an astonishing rate, up to 20 piglets per litter. Their presence not only disrupts forest ecosystems, but also poses a serious risk of spreading disease, directly impacting the global food supply chain. The origins of this situation date back to the early 20th century, when European wild boars were introduced to South America for hunting purposes. Already known for their resilience, they gradually adapted to the new environment. When hunting farms were no longer maintained, these animals escaped into the wild and began expanding their range. The turning point came when they crossbred with domestic pigs, animals known for their high reproductive capacity. This combination didn't weaken them. Instead, it created a hybrid with both wild strength and rapid growth. The result is the Java porco, a population that can reach up to 300 kilograms per individual, with exceptional physical power and adaptability. One of their most notable features is the dense subdermal structure composed of scar tissue, hardened fat, and tightly connected muscle layers, functioning as a natural shield that significantly reduces the impact of conventional control measures. In addition, their tusks are constantly sharpened through natural friction, becoming highly effective defensive tools. Beyond their physical advantages, they exhibit strong adaptability, living in organized groups led by experienced females who can memorize vast territories and adjust behavior when facing threats. As a result, their impact goes far beyond foraging, extending into environmental damage, as their rooting behavior alters soil structure, disrupts ecosystems, affects water sources, and increases the risk of transmitting diseases to livestock and humans if not properly controlled. In this context, large-scale control methods have been implemented with a completely different approach. Instead of causing disruption, trap systems are designed to blend into the natural environment. Steel posts are arranged in a wide circular formation, not fully enclosed from the start. There is no sudden drop mechanism or anything that might trigger panic. Every detail is designed to create a sense of familiarity and safety. Food is initially placed outside the area, then gradually moved deeper inside over time. This process continues without direct human intervention, allowing the herd to develop a natural habit of entering the space. Once familiarity reaches a stable level, the entire group begins to move into the trap area as part of their normal behavior. At this stage, human involvement truly begins, through remote monitoring systems using cameras. Operators patiently wait for a single moment, when every individual is fully inside the controlled area. No animals left outside, no unexpected variables. Only when this condition is met is the decision made. The activation mechanism is quick and precise. The gate closes in an instant, forming a fully enclosed space with no gaps. However, behind that moment lies a preparation process that can take days, even weeks. If triggered too early, part of the herd will escape and change their behavior. If too late, the opportunity may be lost. This is not a race against time, but a coordination of observation, analysis, and perfect timing. The entire process demands patience and minimizes human presence to the greatest extent possible. There are no sudden interventions, and the environment is kept unchanged to maintain a natural feel. It is this stillness that allows the herd to continue its routine, while in reality, every movement is carefully calculated. When the moment comes, a single precise action is enough to complete the entire operation.
Load up! Load up! Load up!
The battle against wild boars is quietly unfolding across the vast fields of Texas. These wild boar herds don't just destroy crops, they also cause tens of thousands of dollars in damage to farmers. This issue isn't something that happens overnight. It's a silent, escalating attack that grows every night, leaving farmers helpless. This increase in boar activity threatens not only the community but also their agriculture. Wild boars are not always easy to spot. At first, they leave only scattered footprints in remote fields, which are not always noticeable. But when these tracks start appearing every morning and evening, it's no longer a coincidence. The Boars have claimed this territory. They don't just destroy the land, they also threaten the lives of the people living here. Without a strong solution, farmers would never be able to protect their crops. A new trapping system was developed to address this problem. The Boar Buster system, after several days of field surveys, was installed with high precision. Every trap location, activation time, and entry point was meticulously planned. However, the wild boars weren't easily fooled. They cautiously tested the area, waiting for the right moment. When the trap system was activated for the first time, things didn't go as expected. Despite the experts' careful calculations, a delay in the trap's response gave the boar herd an opportunity to escape. The death of any member of the herd could trigger a chain reaction, making the others more cautious. Every second counts when dealing with wild animals. After the first failure, the experts didn't give up. They quickly realized the problem was the delay in the activation mechanism and the imperfect entry angle. The entire system was adjusted to react faster and more accurately. The closer they got to the target, the more patient and detailed the adjustments had to be. Rushing things wasn't always the best option. A small misstep could result in failure. The following night, the trap system was redeployed. This time, everything went perfectly. The boar herd didn't notice the danger in time. Every move went smoothly, and the activation mechanism quickly contained the entire herd in the trap. The safety of the crops and the community was secured. This wasn't just a small victory, but the first step toward fully controlling the wild boar problem. Setting the trap isn't just about technical knowledge, it's also an art of understanding wild animals. The net trap was used to contain the entire herd without causing panic. Once all the boars had entered, The trap was lowered without making a sound or causing any disturbance. This calm strategy ensured the herd didn't recognize the danger until they were fully contained. Wild boar traps don't only help protect crops but also serve as a safeguard for people's lives. When threatened, wild boars can become extremely dangerous. With strong defensive instincts, they'll attack anything in their path. Controlling the herd doesn't just protect the land, but also reduces the risk of harm to humans. Once the wild boars are caught, they are moved to designated areas for processing. This process is carried out very carefully to ensure the safety of both the animals and those involved. The boars may be taken to facilities where they are handled according to legal regulations or relocated to other areas to be released back into their natural habitat. The battle against wild boars isn't won in one go. It's a long and continuous process of control, aimed at maintaining the balance between humans and nature. If you found this information helpful, don't forget to leave your thoughts and share this video so more people can understand how to protect the community and nature.
Not everyone has ever seen an entire herd of wild boars trapped inside a single enclosure. I've witnessed it a few times, but never on that kind of scale. That night, when the system tightened, the tension filled the air, anchor lines humming, the net shaking hard. Inside, the herd panicked, trampling over each other and searching for a way out. And it all started from a patch of ground that had been torn apart. The first time I visited Uncle James's farm, things had already gone far beyond control. The grass field was ripped into large patches, the soil turned over heavily, with signs scattered across the entire area. You didn't even need to see the boars. Just looking at the ground told the whole story. A large herd had passed through during the night, and not just once. Neighbors nearby confirmed they kept coming back for weeks, despite every attempt to drive them away. Lights stayed on all night, guards rotated shifts, even multiple deterrent methods were used, but nothing worked. What stood out wasn't just the level of destruction, but how quickly the herd adapted. They returned on schedule, followed the same paths, and grew more confident each time. Once it had gone on that long, the solution couldn't be reactive anymore. It had to shift into a controlled, systematic approach. The next morning, we began setting up the trap early. The netting was carried into the forest, teams worked in sections, each anchor point secured tightly to tree trunks. The work seemed simple, but it demanded precision, because even a small misalignment could render the entire system useless. Once everything was in place, it became completely still. There was nothing left to do but wait for the right moment. The herd wasn't forced into the trap. They followed their own habits, guided by bait and familiarity. The lead boar appeared first, paused to observe, then stepped inside. The rest followed behind, one by one, without the slightest suspicion. Once they started feeding, their alertness gradually dropped. The longer they stayed, the deeper they moved into the center, never realizing the enclosure had already closed around them. The circular trap design worked exactly as intended. There were no blind spots to escape through, no weak points to break. When they sensed something wrong, their only instinct was to run. But in a closed circular space, running only drained their energy faster. They kept circling, crashing into the net, sending strong vibrations through it, yet the entire structure held firm. Every charge only tightened the net further, never weakening it. There were no gaps, no break points. No matter how they struggled, rammed, or tried to break free, it all led to the same outcome: exhaustion. That was when I understood the core principle of this system. Once the entire herd steps into the circle, the chance of escape is almost gone. Not because the trap is complex, but because it uses the herd's own behavior against them. The entire process was monitored through screens. It wasn't fear, it was intense focus. As notifications began appearing continuously from different points, we knew the system was working exactly as planned. Not just one trap, but multiple locations were reporting results. The feeling in that moment was a mix of tension and relief, as the long chain of damage was finally brought to a stop. What came next followed a set procedure. Each animal was controlled and transported, the numbers so large we had to rethink the logistics. But what mattered more was the outcome. The farm was no longer being destroyed every night, and the people living there could finally sleep peacefully again. On the drive back, in the quiet of the vehicle, I realized that success didn't come from a single moment, but from a process of observation and patience. Control doesn't come from the size of the trap, but from the precision of timing and execution. If you've ever faced a situation like this, share your experience. And if you found this useful, don't forget to follow for more real-world strategies like this.
A morning that seemed ordinary suddenly reveals a completely different scene. The ground is torn up, rows of crops uprooted, leaving scattered gaps as if an invisible force had swept through. There are no signs of storms or machinery, only deep tracks pressed into the soft soil, stretching in a familiar direction. It points to one clear fact: the wild boar herd has returned, following the same route, repeating the same pattern night after night. First, the damage appears scattered and easy to overlook. A corner of the field disturbed, a few plants lightly damaged. But within days, everything begins to change. The signs grow denser, the affected area expands quickly. The boars no longer move alone, but in organized groups, repeatedly returning to places where they once found food. The real concern is not just their numbers, but how fast they learn. Each approach becomes an adjustment in behavior. The pin-style traps begin to appear as a direct response to this situation. They are not placed randomly, but positioned precisely along routes the herd has used many times. Strong steel frames form an enclosed space, large enough to hold multiple animals at once. This is not just a trap, but a calculated stop point based on the movement patterns of the entire group. Inside the trap, the one-way gate mechanism plays a critical role. As the boars enter, the gate opens naturally, but once they pass through, it locks automatically, preventing any return. This does not trigger immediate panic, allowing the herd's behavior to remain stable in the first moments, giving other animals time to follow inside.
There you go. Female scout. Another female.
Bait is always placed deep inside, forcing the lead animal to move fully in before stopping. When one begins to feed, the others quickly follow. This chain reaction increases the trap's effectiveness. In a short time, multiple animals can be contained without any direct intervention. In areas with higher boar density, net traps become the next step. No longer limited to a small space, the system expands to surround an entire feeding zone. At first, the net is kept raised, allowing the herd to move in and out freely, creating a complete sense of safety. Over several days, the herd forms a new routine. Enter, feed, and leave without danger. When their alertness drops low enough, the activation moment is chosen. The net drops all at once, covering the area in seconds and capturing the entire group with no chance of escape. In states like Texas, some operations even use daytime helicopter observation to map movement routes before deploying traps at night. However, in situations where individual animals must be handled quickly, snare traps are still used. Cable loops are hidden beneath a thin layer of soil, placed exactly along familiar paths. When a boar steps into position, the loop tightens instantly, fast, precise, and nearly silent. Each method has its limits, but when combined, they form a complete control system. From holding entire herds in pin traps, covering wide areas with nets, to precisely targeting individuals with snares, all approaches follow the same principle. Not direct confrontation, but using the animal's own behavior to control it effectively.
Se convierte en un lugar seguro para los marcias.
This is a quiet process that demands patience and constant observation. No method works if placed in the wrong location or at the wrong time. But when every factor is calculated correctly, traps not only reduce damage, but also help restore balance. And the question remains, can humans always stay one step ahead, or will they continue adapting to the ever-changing behavior of wild boar herds?